Deuteronomy 12:27. Ve'asita olotecha habasar ve'hadam al mizbach Adonai Elohecha, ve'dam zevachecha yishafech al mizbach Adonai Elohecha, ve'habasar tochel. So we begin here with a vav consecutive, another one on the perfect. We still have the 2ms working here. So the verbal root that we have here is ayin sin hey, to do or to make. Notice with those third heys again, we get that yod that drops in there, asita, right? So that's totally normal. With the vav consecutive, we get and you will make, or and you shall make, following from that same verbal nuance previously. And you shall make your burnt offerings, the 2ms on a plural noun. Notice that olah is feminine singular normally, and so when we make it a plural, we get this ot before adding the 2ms suffix. So we have ot here, otecha, olotecha, your burnt offerings. Then we get this specification, the flesh and the blood, both of those things together. You shall make upon the altar of the Lord your God's, pretty standard there, but this word make would be something like to make a burnt offering, or to do a burnt offering would be to offer a burnt offering. And so you can see how asa can do something a little different there. So you shall offer or do the burnt offerings, the blood, the flesh and the blood upon the altar of the Lord your God, and the blood of your sacrifices, it will be poured out upon the altar of the Lord your God. So go back to the verb here. We get the nifal this time. We have the nifal. Notice this yi'ah box is how I call it, yi'ah. And what we're looking at, the verbal root here is shin pei kaf, shafach, to pour out. And with the nifal, it's third masculine singular, referring back to blood here as the primary thing, even though we have sacrifices as plural. The blood of your sacrifices, the blood, will be poured out upon the altar of the Lord your God. But, notice but, because we're going to get an alternative here, but the flesh, notice we had the two things up here, and now we've mentioned what's going to happen with one of those, number 2, and now we're going to introduce what happens with number 1, but the flesh you shall eat. There's a call imperfect 2ms of the verbal root achal.